James Mwangi, Group Managing Director and CEO of Equity Group Holdings, brought us insight into the role regional banks play in accelerating financial inclusion and how the continent can mobilize local resources to strengthen its financial systems.
The financial sector, particularly of African origin, has a very huge responsibility going forward. Given what you have just said, we need to demonstrate capability to mobilize local resources so that we can strengthen our financial systems. But it goes beyond mobilizing resources. We must bank the African people. Financial inclusion must be at the center of every bank. We can't keep on leaving people behind. People have dreams, but dreams never come true because the financial systems have not been very responsive. One area of great interest to me is financing talent. We have a pool of young people. Our 1.4 billion people has a mean age of 18 years, but they don't have collaterals. What they have is talent, is ideas. We must develop a mechanism of funding through trust our young people so that they become the demographic dividend that we have waited for many years.
And what does that look like? What does that work look like? Talking about skills development, right? Especially in a continent where a lot of the youth is unemployed. I can talk about here at home in South Africa, where we have youth unemployment rate close to 50%.
And it's not just 50% youth unemployment. Those employed are employed in the informal sector. So we need really to mainstream the informal sector and formalize it so that it becomes the base of African multinationals, our African capitals. We must support the entrepreneurs because there is a shortage of jobs. Governments are no longer employing, corporates are no longer employing. We must create the jobs. And the best place to create jobs is in small and medium enterprises. But we have to have the right products for them. African banks must take the challenge of fit for purpose products that speaks to young people, that speaks to the African risk, that speaks to a history of data and information that we can use to score people. We have to find new mechanisms. But we must also accept that breaded finance is the way to the future. We must combine loans, capital with grant money so that we can capacitate and de-risk young people. Young people, as we have rightly said, don't have entrepreneurial skills. We must combine lending with the entrepreneurial skills so that we enhance their probability to succeed. But because they are young and have no accumulated assets to offer as securities, we must use grants to secure their loans other than secure their loans using collateral. We use guarantees, risk-shared guarantee with the philanthropist. And that will be the most effective way of using grant money so that it's people-centered, it's empowering people. The last one is we must think about banking business models. If banks have not worked in the past, if they don't change, they will not work into the present and into the future. We must find models that are appropriate to our circumstances and situations. We can't continue to cut and paste banking from a developed world to a developing world. We must recognize Africa is an emerging market. Let's create banking models that are appropriate for emerging
markets, right? And just circling back to that issue around SMEs, what you're talking about here when it comes to funding sounds like a collaborative model, a collaborative effort. And I'd like to know whether you are seeing different stakeholders coming to the party, right? Because one of the biggest issues here is access to funding for small businesses in particular.
Yes, we have said the time for silo mentality is over. Working in a disaggregated manner. We have to work together. The models are working. A partnership between Equity Group and MasterCard Foundation have seen the formation of Young Africa Works. And we are focused on young people. MasterCard as a foundation gives grants that train young people for 11 weeks to acquire entrepreneurial skills and competencies of managing business. Then they provide credit risk sharing guarantees,
Yes.
Particularly for women and young people. And then Equity Bank provides the loans. Under that partnership, we have so far done 4.8 billion US dollars to 680,000 businesses. And they have not only thrived, but they have created 2.6 million jobs. So this can work. We've done the same with MasterCard and the World Bank and said, why don't we develop talent of young people and give them exposure? To date, we have given 60,000 scholarships. 29,000 of them have made it to universities. 1,800 have done medicine. And we have gone to them and said, why don't we register a health franchise for you? And so far, they have established 147 medical centers. And last year, they saw 4.3 million patients. So these models of partnership, collaborations between partners is what is working. I want to submit that today's leadership is all about partnership management.
Yeah. And talking about leadership, Equity is in one of the fastest growing regions in Africa, right? And maybe you can talk to us about some of the work that's being done there to actually grow those economies to where they are, and what G20 leaders can adapt from that, learn from that when it comes to those recommendations.
Yeah, we are very lucky to be in Africa's fastest growing economies. That is Tanzania, that is Rwanda, that's Uganda, that is DRC. Kenya is not too far behind, and we have also a rep office in Ethiopia. So if you look out of our 7 countries of operation, 5 of them are in the top fastest growing economies in the world. And what we have chosen is then to fuel that growth and ensure that it results into shared prosperity. So we have focused on SMEs, and 72% of all our loans are to micro, small, and medium enterprises. A country like Kenya, where we have a long history, 45% of all lending in the industry to micro, medium enterprises is by Equity Bank. So we are deliberate to ensure that this wealth anchors in the hearts of the Africans themselves. So we are doing ecosystem banking.
Yes.
We look at the value chain. We say, who are the suppliers to this value chain? Who do they outsource to? And we bring them together as an ecosystem and fund the ecosystem. For value chain, then we create it as a revolving fund within the value chain to ensure our people have skin in the game.
And just on funding SMEs, you speak about Kenya, and Kenya is known as the Silicon Valley of Africa. And I was wondering, when it comes to startups within the tech sector, innovation, what are you seeing there? What kind of trends are playing out?
We are lucky in Kenya that the financial sector is significantly developed. The innovation space is very vibrant, particularly in the mobile space. And things like credit reference bureaus exist. So we have a lot of data. So broadly what we have done in Kenya is to look at Kenya as the Savannah Silicon Valley and said our biggest opportunity is to fund young people who are innovation. The greatest wealth at the moment is being created by innovators.
Yeah.
And essentially what we have said is, why don't we fund talent as opposed to securities? And these breakthroughs we are seeing are making a huge difference. The good thing is Equity has a culture of innovation. So we see what we have done is to make it possible for them is to create an internship program with the bank. So every year we take 750 of those very gifted people to the bank, and we give them 1 year internship and say, this is how businesses are run. So then after that, we release them to the world and say, what business do you want to create? And we walk the path with you. So we are big in innovation. But beyond that, we support them by exposing our APIs. So we give them APIs for payment, banking as services, insurance as a service, and they use our technology platform. At the moment, we're investing heavily to build digital financial services so that it speaks to their needs, such that they no longer need to come to banking. We convert banking from where you go to what you do on devices. But more importantly is working with the government of Kenya and Rwanda to build digital public infrastructure, so that these innovators don't have to build the infrastructure. They just do applications. And that hopefully will fast track and reduce the heavy cost of investment for all young innovators.
That was James Mwangi, Group Managing Director and CEO of Equity Group Holdings.